within us.
Within the community, 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's the mistrust.
Yeah.
And it comes from a long sort of history of being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
We're unlearning. It's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while for us to unlearn.
But those of us who have been privileged with access, success, opportunities, we also need to be conscious of the fact that we are prolonging the harm if we don't make a conscious decision to share.
100%.
I'm not saying give people who are unworthy and undeserving opportunity, but if you see that, for example, Lungelo, you've got a podcast, it's still young. I'm Annie, I'm on traditional media, I'm on Showmax.
Yeah.
You coming to my podcast co-signs my podcast as a platform, right? So you didn't lose much from doing that.
No.
But all you did was your 10 minutes of research. You probably logged on, looked at the podcast and said, this person is trying, they've got legitimacy, then let me go and burn the candle with, you know what I mean? So it's important that we do that where we can, as much as possible.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, I always feel like I literally take the people around me and I uplift them. If you see my current, I'm going to call her my PA, her name is Kayla. She used to be a dancer in my dance company. She came to me when she was like 19, and now she's an account executive in my creative agency. I have another dancer, Ziggy. He also was a dancer for me. He was a choreographer for me, and now I've taken him into my creative agency as well.
Yeah.
Another lady called Shakil, I gave her my dance business when I realized that I have no capability of running it anymore and giving it the right attention. She was with me since she was young, 16, you know. I used to take her to gigs, pick her up and whatever it is. And then it came to a point where I'm like, you can run this business. And now she runs it, and she does it better than what I do it.
Yes,
she has more clients than what I do, you know. And on the side, she's also creating her own brands in terms of clothing and whatever it is, and she's just growing herself. At my salon, also, I get like 2 people a year from underprivileged communities, and I teach them beauty, and I put them through school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we all need to grow. We need to get humanity to grow with us, you know. We need to give people opportunities that didn't have opportunities before.
Sure.
And I'm very, very much about that. I think it's so important that we give people the chance, even when they don't see it in themselves. You say, I believe in you and you can do this. So let's grow you as a person.
Annie, who do you pray to?
God.
Okay. It's actually not an obvious answer.
It's not. I agree with you. I could have said Allah.
True. I've interviewed more than 50 guests.
Yes.
And the people who say, I don't pray to anyone, I don't believe in anything.
There's also that.
There's also that, right?
Yeah.
The reason I ask who you pray to is because in the production, you're surrounded by people with very different spiritualities, very vast spiritualities.
Yes.
And people seem to pray a lot on that show.
No, we do. And I actually encourage praying.
Yeah.
I encourage it all the time. Like, the reason we started praying during dinners is because I will say, guys, let's pray.
Yeah.
Before we eat. And then I naturally let Nonku lead because for me, she was the person who sort of has that background.
She was on this chair and she said she's a pastor, so you can say she's a pastor.
Right.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, cool. And then obviously now we have different people, and I embrace all kinds of spirituality, honestly speaking. I mean, I take something from Sarisha. She's obviously, I think it's Hindu.
She's Hindu, yeah.
And she will tell me, this is the sort of ritual, whatever that I do, and I do them like this, and it does this for me. I'll be like, okay, let me try that out, you know. Or sleep. We'll say, I light white candles for purity and whatever it is. You should pray with the white candles.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, cool.
Yes.
Sleep. I'm gonna try that out.
Yes.
So literally, you know, I take what I think is gonna work for me, and I go with that. But ultimately, I pray to God.
And do you think that the spiritual aspect of yourself keeps you grounded? And if that wasn't there, we'd see a different Annie?
Yeah, I think so very much. Actually, you know, yes, my husband always comes back into the conversation, but before I started dating him, I was scared of God. I know, it's such a strange thing. I had an abortion.
Okay.
And that abortion made me ashamed.
I hear you.
To the point where I couldn't walk into church without crying. I couldn't face God. I didn't want to talk to him. I wanted to hide from him. And when Holo met me, he's highly spiritual, and he prays, and he's a warrior. He's a prayer warrior.
Yeah.
And when I said to him, I'm not going to go to church with you, he was like, what the, he was quite taken aback. And he said to me, it's so important that you get in touch with God. And my parents brought me up in the Catholic Church. I've gone through all the processes. I've been confirmed. I've had First Holy Communion. I've, every single church process. I used to go to Sunday school every Sunday. Like, I'm well learned about religion and the Catholic religion and the Bible. But I just fell off for so many years because of shame. And Holo brought me back to God.
Yeah.
And now it's really what holds me together.
Thank you for sharing that, something so personal. The reason I'm thanking you is because, once again, as a woman of influence, it's important that this is on a platform that's worldwide. It's important for women around the world, regardless of what background they come from, regardless of what social setting they come from, economic setting they come from, to know that their body is their body.
Yeah.
Their emotions and their decisions at a certain time are valid.
Yes.
And moving on from that shouldn't put you in a place where you're depressed, you're guilty, you're feeling invalidated, you feel like you're divorced from God.
Yeah.
No.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Yeah. But I think I was so young.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that maturity. It's like when when my son does something wrong, he doesn't want to come to me. He goes to run away. And I think it's a similar thing.
I get you. Yeah.
But when he's older, he'll be able to take responsibility and say, "Okay, Mom, I'm sorry that I did this."
Yes.
And that's basically the process that I went through with finding God again.
Yeah. And do you think where you are with God now is where you really think you should be?
100%. Crazy. Meeting sleep, crazy. Has actually opened. Has opened up a different spiritual access for me.
Okay.
Sleep. First time she met me, she said, "There's a person with you. That's always with you." I said, that's a little bit freaky, Snee. What you mean, And I had seen this person before, but I didn't take it seriously. Or I was like, okay, there's this person that I see from time to time. And she's like, this is your spiritual guide. This is the ancestor who walks with you to protect you. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then we started figuring out that I have like a certain gift and whatever it is, and it's just become so an eye-opener for me, because there are things that I've said and done in the past that I didn't realize that I was doing. Now looking back on them, I can say, oh, okay, this is because of this gift. And yeah, I think that I'm definitely in the right spiritual space because I'm accessing the gifts from God that I had all along, but now I'm spiritually aware of them, Yeah.
Do you think you misunderstood?
And I misunderstood.
Yeah.
This question. People are going to judge you based on their own personal experience.
Okay.
So
a lot of projections.
A lot of projections. So wherever you are coming from, whatever your background is, however you grew up, or whatever influences that you have in your life, is what's going to make you judge the next person. So I don't want to say that I'm misunderstood. I think that I'm understood by different people from their context of life, and that's okay.
We're nearing the end of our episode, but for purposes of, because I know people would just want to know, and this is not the type of platform.
Yeah.
But are you all people for curtains and
guys, curtains?
Like curtains.
50K curtains. Oh my! I laughed. I'm not going to lie. When all of that stuff came out, my husband and I were giggling so hard. I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, your smear campaign is ridiculous.
Yeah.
if you want to come against me, and this is advice for my enemies, do it in a clever way.
Yeah.
Do it in a believable manner. You know, don't drop 3 items of news in the same week just to show how angry you are.
I get you.
Rather, you know, pace it out. Think of the long game. If you're gonna destroy me, you gotta have a proper plan about it, my babe. You know. Yeah, it was just it was super ridiculous, and I don't know, bro. 450 for curtains. What do you feel like? What sort of curtains are those?
Sure.
Like, are they from the South runway?
Well, we got a very beautiful home, and we haven't seen every room. So in my head, I was like, I mean, curtains can cost like 100K.
They said these curtains are from season 1, firstly. Secondly, they said it was in Durban North. I've never had a house in Durban North.
Yes, you don't. I know that. Yeah.
So I was like, from season 1, and my house in season 1 was our first home that Polo and I bought.
Yeah.
It was a small home. It was 3 bedrooms. It was like, it wasn't huge. 400, like now, maybe curtains would cost 450K because we have windows that are like maybe 20 meters high.
Yeah.
Now the space sense because those are custom curtains.
Yes.
But just in general, normal curtains, guys, no. Stop it.
Any last words for bullies?
For bullies?
People who intentionally want to, as you say, hurt people.
Do I have words for them? Do you know what? Honestly speaking, I have no words for bullies. I feel like it's a heart thing. It's a relationship with God. It's where you are in your life that creates that situation for you where you have a bad heart towards someone and you want to bully them and you want to say bad things and you want to just like you aren't okay within yourself, you know. And I think I was very naive to think. I mean, I've been bullied, but not like that. There's been racism. There's been, you know, I think my school bullies were people who didn't understand me because I was from Africa and they were obviously from Europe.
Yeah.
So there was that divide. There was a misunderstanding. They've never experienced this before. But for someone who just has a bad heart, there's not much I can do for you or say for you. That's your own journey that you need to go on and decide what you want to do. So yeah, Satan is real.
Her parents in love refer to her as Mthembu. We know her emphatically and with love as Annie Mthembu. She's a businesswoman, she's an entrepreneur, she's a reality TV star. She says she doesn't know how she feels about fame at the moment, but she's just riding the wave. And obviously she's building her brand as she rides the wave. So we hope to see more from Annie. We hope she'll come back to the show, and we thank you so much, Annie, for coming to our platform. We thank you for trusting us with your story, and we hope to see many great things from you. We also hope to see many great things in your marriage because it's been put up in the spotlight so much unnecessarily by people who have ulterior motives. Yeah. But we here at Engineer Your Life want the best for you.
Thank you so much, and I just want to say thank you to you as well. You have made me so comfortable.
Thank you.
I've never been this comfortable in an interview, honestly.
Yeah.
And you've really just made me open up in ways I really wouldn't with other people. So thank you. Your energy is amazing, and I hope your podcast goes off. It flies with the bags, dancing.
The show is Engineer Your Life. I'm Lungelo KM. Click like, click subscribe, join, whatever. You know what to do. I say it all the time. I'll see you in the next episode.